well. Gold looks very interesting, but it's kind of still descending. And right now, again, similar to USD CAD actually, with the lower highs and the consolidation. But I'm still very bullish on gold, looking for a move higher. But for me to be looking for opportunities, I need to see price break out of this descending channel, and then I'll be looking for my pullbacks to long. I'm very much a fan of break and retest, breakouts, because they indicate momentum, they indicate direction, and that's something I want to follow. I want to be on the back of a wave rather than create my own wave. So hopefully we can get something like that. So gold, silver interests me. Some dollar pairs, not quite there yet for me. Pound USD, I'm bullish on this market. However, it's not at a place to sell. I'll keep an eye on the news, by the way, 7 minutes. Let's not forget that. So yeah, pound USD approaching a big level of resistance. Naturally, this is where sellers will be drawn towards, be looking to jump into some short opportunities. Not my type of trade. I'm looking for the pullback on pound USD to try and catch it on its next higher low. And I'm actually looking at around 1.26, which we'll dive into in a moment. But as we approach resistance here, this could be a smart play for a sell. So potentially, maybe if we have one more stab higher, this could be the catalyst for a big drop to the downside. As you can see, every time the market stabs higher, push down, stabs higher, push down, higher, push down. So I'll be expecting something like that, and eventually a bigger move lower. Where I'm looking to get involved and take price higher is definitely on the retest of this high. 1.262 looks really good to me. Solid resistance, broke through great momentum, never had the retest, so relatively fresh level of support. Should we get back down there, I think there's a very good chance we bounce. So we'll be keeping a close eye on pound USD, but for me, this is probably more of a trade for next week because it's going to take us a long while to get there. I don't know, maybe NFP on Friday speeds things up, but if anything, sales make the most sense as we approach 1.28, but simply not really my type of trade. So we'll be looking for that bigger pullback there. Aussie dollar, I don't really have too much to say with this one. I'm just looking at this as consolidation. There's no kind of real trend at play. There is some of a bullish trend, but if I expand to the higher time frames, and I always use my higher time frames as a filter to indicate the best trades, the best trends to follow. There isn't really a trend here on the daily chart, which is a bit of a red flag for me. I want to have clear direction in the higher time frames, and then I drop to the lower time frames to take advantage of that. There isn't real direction on the daily chart, no real direction in the 4 hour as well. So I would like to see price show me some type of continuation, and then I'll be interested in a long. But yeah, inside here, I would stay away personally because I can't really make too much sense of price. It's all over the place. So yeah, Aussie dollar I do not like at all. Euro USD, nice uptrend there. Was buying this one last week. It's still looking pretty good, but it's a little bit corrected now and again. You can probably view this as consolidation. In all honesty, it's not really moving too well as it was in previous weeks. So we are starting to slow down, and I think that's kind of a reflection of what the DXY is doing. DXY has been bearish, but it is definitely slowing down as we approach major levels of support. So that's why I think NFP is going to play such a major role on Friday, because that will probably set us for the rest of the week. Rest of the month in terms of direction for dollar. So my eyes will be peeled to see how we react on Friday. But yeah, right now I would still be bearish on the DXY on the dollar because we have this trend at play. But yeah, I'm not looking to follow that on euro. Still a little bit too corrective for me. Still a little bit too corrective. Anyway, as we approach closer to the CAD news, we'll be fixated more on USD CAD to see what happens with this currency pair, of course.
This week only, our trading software, the Edge Finder, is 20% off. We've been working hard to make the Edge Finder the best trading tool on the market by including even more scoring metrics to make our bullish and bearish biases even more accurate. With the Edge Finder, you'll get a daily list of top setups, access to our COT data and retail sentiment breakdowns, brand new fundamental data tabs like interest rates data, CPI data, seasonality, and labor market data. The Edge Finder is used by both swing traders and day traders all over the world, including our very own trader Nick, who uses it in all of his trading setups. If you want access to the Edge Finder, you can find it down in the description below, but don't forget this big 20% discount isn't around much longer, so get it before it's too late.
But yeah, US 30 overall still bullish, still previous low in the market here, which created just about the new high. So still looking at a retracement, but we did sell off pretty heavily. So I think if you're looking to buy, I'll be focusing on the lows down here, see if we form a major double bottom before long. And that looks fairly attractive. I wouldn't try and force anything around here because there's still a lot of bearish momentum here. I wouldn't be too surprised actually if we have a bigger pullback and price size wants to sell off even more. At least if we come back to this low, we got a safer place for a stop loss, and you're kind of anticipating a big level of support forming, so it's a bit safer for a long down there. But I would be bullish on US 30. I wouldn't be against the sell here. I like it. Impulse, consolidation, impulse. Could see a nice retest of that for a sell. Still long-term bullish bias, but short-term sells could make some sense as we approach this area. So I would keep an eye out for that if you are a bear in this market. If you're a buyer, eager for upside, I'll be focusing on the low. 38K more or less. So yeah, I'll be keeping a close eye on that. But yeah, that's kind of my outlook on the Dow Jones. So yeah, back to USD CAD. Still got about a minute or two left before the news does come out. Like I said, not any trades at the moment, so I'm not really too invested to see what the news does. Of course, I want to find out, and maybe there could be some trades after, which is what I'm a big fan of, waiting for big news to come out and then looking to trade after. Not necessarily directly after, but maybe the next day or the next week, especially when NFP happens on a Friday. Normally the week after gives some really, really nice opportunities on some pullbacks. We're looking to follow that momentum. So yeah, I'm a big fan of trading after the news, not necessarily before. Okay, so yeah, the news is out now. So yeah, originally a pretty bullish reaction, which would be expected. You expect to see CAD fall. The numbers are not out yet. Okay, they are. Yeah, so it did drop to 4.75. So yeah, naturally you're going to expect to see a weakness in CAD there, and of course USD CAD is flying right now. Nice rule of thumb: always wait for the hourly candle to close before really digesting what the news is giving us, because we can fluctuate quite a lot. I know we're looking exceptionally bullish right now, but give it a few minutes, we might just be leaving a massive wick to the upside as well. So I wouldn't read too much into price action in the first 2, 3, 5 minutes of news, but when we do get hourly candle closures, then I can start to read a bit more into the price action and into the candlesticks. But yeah, looking pretty bullish. Let's take a look at some other CAD pairs. So yeah, Aussie CAD up, NZD CAD up, Pound CAD up, Euro CAD up. So CAD is definitely weak right now. CAD Yen, I'll be pushing down. So yeah, CAD is definitely weak right now. So yeah, taking that information to use the CAD, we are pushing up pretty hard. So yeah, it depends what price wants to do. Does it want to break out of this descending channel or consolidation? If it does break out, that does change a lot, because then I'll be favoring price to come back into the swing high over there, and buyers will become very interesting. Definitely on the retest that high as well. But let's see if that momentum sustains, because it could still topple over at that high.
Some serious economic news first. It was interest rates from Canada, which they actually did cut those rates. So that will give us a clue that even US might cut their rates next week. And tomorrow we're going to have rates from Europe, and they might also cut their interest rates. So that will be actually good. But obviously, if they cut, that will actually be a good thing for the indexes like Nasdaq, US 30, also S&P 500. Maybe we'll start to see also gold starting to go to the upside. So US30, I see gold. Yeah, I will just go straight to that. So at the moment, since we are on DXY, we can easily see that, yeah, the market is been consolidating around this resistance and support. And that happens after we just saw a nice breakout. So we're expecting to see the market continue to go down. But with this non-stop economic news, guys, I think it's going to be a very difficult one for the market to continue going down. I think maybe the best thing that we can see the market to go even lower, I think is going to be interest rates cuts and also CPI, which is going to be next week. But at the moment, this shows us that the dollar is trying to gain that momentum, but we are coming from a support, which means the dollar is still very, very, very weak. So we just want to see a breakout there. Then we can easily continue buying our Nasdaqs and US30. But at the moment, it seems like the market was not actually in favor of the dollar. So let's see. Gold, we can easily see that, yes, the market is still quite similar to what we saw on DXY and also on Euro USD. All these markets, they are actually ranging at the moment. So that shows that the market is not really sure which direction to take at the moment. So it shows that those economic news that we are waiting for, they are very, 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 very important, and that will make the market to consolidate until we get those release, and which are going to be next week. But also this week we also have NFP. It's also very important. But from what we see here on gold, we are coming from a very nice uptrend structure. We had a breakout to show that the dollar, it was quite stronger against gold. So now we see that the market is just consolidating where we are, which means, yeah, even if it's consolidating, it shows that everyone is just waiting for proper move or proper or maybe to have clarity from Federal Reserve or maybe from FOMC, whether they are going to cut the rate or not. But what we see here is it seems like not everyone is sure, because the dollar at the moment is quite stronger, which means they think maybe they won't actually cut the rate. So what we have here is we just have to wait for the market to reach this resistance area before we look for that sell, or maybe the market will end up breaking our support area, then we can continue selling. Yes, the market is actually on a nice downtrend, but at the moment, the market is still consolidating. We can also have something like that. That also makes sense. Remember, this is a downtrend structure, but it's still very, very, very fresh. So this might still continue for a quite long. So let's push to the next one. I will be checking your comments. So on US30, this is also good for us. We had a proper uptrend structure. Here it's a visible breakout. Now the market is just continuing with the same structures that I've shown you on Euro USD, DXY, gold, and also US30. It's actually trying to show us that it's starting to consolidate. Plus, we just had a manufacturing PMI, which showed us that the number is a little bit higher, and that makes the dollar to be a little bit stronger. That's why we actually sold US30. And this makes sense. This just makes sense. Even though those news are not really aggressively that strong, but at the moment or at times like this, every economic news is quite important. So we're expecting to sell this up to maybe this level of a support. But what we know is, as long as we are on a downtrend, it doesn't really matter. We are still going to continue to go down. But we know very well that we have to also wait for the news, especially on Friday. I think NFP is going to be way too important. So please guys, be extra careful in the market. Things are not actually as nice as you can think. So let me see what you want me to check. USD ZAR, silver, US30. I did check gold, US30. Let me see. GBP, JPY, AUD, JPY, USD ZAR. Okay, let me go on USD ZAR. So since I'm actually on Nasdaq, this is what we have. We can easily see that from a 4-hour time frame structure, we can easily see that we are actually on a very nice uptrend structure. But at the moment, things were a little bit aggressive, because once we reached that level of this highest level here, the market started to show us that it's selling. The market started to sell, and that was actually needed. If you check this uptrend structure, you can see that the market has been actually aggressively going up. So obviously we needed something for a nice reversal, so that before we actually go up. I think if maybe they cut the rates next week, if maybe NFP is going to be weaker, if maybe CPI is also going to be weak, that it will be a very nice thing for us to continue with that buy. But if those things are going to be other way around, it means we might start to see the market going actually down, or even maybe breaking this support area. But at the moment, the market seems to be trying to go even higher. But I have faith in Federal Reserve to cut the rates, because already we can see that Canada actually did cut the rates, and that is a good sign. It means like these major economies, they might continue to do the same thing. They might follow and start to cut those rates.
I am a bit interested in a couple of yen pairs today, right? Now, I'm going to take away, this is the daily chart, this is euro yen, and this is today's candle, okay, which I'm going to take away right now with my back to the future button, okay, because I want to show you why I'm interested in this, okay? So first of all, when I look at any trade, any pair, you need to determine structure and trend. And the day chart is the chart that gives me my direction. So if we just follow structure of euro yen, you can see we were in an uptrend, all right? But it stopped making higher highs. This is always a red flag. If you're in an uptrend and price stops making higher highs, there's a chance that the trend is slowing, or it could even be changing, right? And then a day later, we get this big, humongous, super bearish candle that breaks these lows, okay? So now we have lower lows. We are in a downtrend, all right? We're also below the moving average 20. This is another thing that I like to keep an eye on. If I'm selling, I like to be below the moving average 20. If I'm buying, I like to be above it, right? So this is where we were at the start of the day, okay? Euro yen broke down, and in the morning, I say to all my viewers, this is the pair that I'm looking at, and then I drop down to the lower time frames, okay? So if we go back to real time now, actually let's stay here. Let's go to the H4 now. Now, at the start of the day, okay, I've pinpointed this grey zone as a level. There's also a level here as well, right? But this grey zone I like. You've had price acting as support, and then when price retraces, it could become a very good area for sells, all right? So this is what I was looking at today. Now, if we go back to real time, this is where we're at, right? And this is the reason also why you need some entry criteria, okay? So at no point have we had a setup. So when price retraces into this grey zone, I want to see a bearish reaction. If I'm going to sell the market, I need to know sellers are in control. Makes sense, right? So I want to see sellers at this level so I can take it back down to these lows. But as you can see, we just haven't had any sellers so far, okay? It's at an interesting level now. We're at the moving average 20, which acts as dynamic resistance in this case, and you can see we're getting a bit of a reaction. But on the H4, there is still not a setup. But I will also enter on the H1, okay? So daily gives me my direction, then I look on H4 and H1 for entries, right? So let's drop down to the H1 now. And you can clearly see that the H1 has produced this level, right? So all day, price has just been shooting up. We saw that on the H4 chart. But now as I mentioned before, if we're in an uptrend and price stops making higher highs, okay, then it's a good indicator that the trend has slowed and could potentially change, right? If this H1 candle shoots up and busts through this level, then obviously I'm still not interested. This would suggest it will carry on going up, okay? But I will sell this if the following happens, right? We're in an uptrend on the H1. It stops making higher highs. Yeah, this level does not break. And then, yeah, you can see this level here. We get a break of this level, okay? And this would mean a structure break on the H1, okay? So, you know, there's no bigger or better indicator than a structure break. Yeah, you know, you can see I trade quite naked charts really. All I trade is the moving average 20. I also trade naked. I'm only joking. I don't do that. But my charts are naked, right? So, you know, all I look at is the moving average 20. But the indicators I use are price action. If we get a structure break of this level, I will be all over this trade. I will sell the living daylights out of it. Okay, so hence I just put my alarm in here and wait for price to break. So let's look at Aussie dollar, US dollar. We have to bear in mind we've just had some, you know, bullish news for the US dollar. We just saw some US dollar strength creep in, right? Now, if we drop down, so this is how I roll. So first of all, I'm going to look at the weekly chart, right? And as you can see, the weekly chart, right, if we follow structure, is in an uptrend. Okay, so generally speaking, I'll be looking for buys, yeah, and you can see we've got this area here that keeps holding, and potentially price could come back up to here. It already has. Okay, so weekly would suggest on the weekly chart, I can look for buying opportunities, right? This is exactly what I do every morning. Then I drop down to the day chart, right? And I'm going to do the same. I'm going to ask myself, what would I do with this pair? Would I buy it, sell it, or would I stay out of the market? Okay. Now, things I look at are structure, obviously very important, and trend. So this is in an uptrend, right? So again, this would suggest I'm looking for buys, right? But there's more data and information. There's so much information on the charts, right? So we're in an uptrend, we would look for buys, okay? We have hit a resistance level, okay? So that would suggest that we don't want to buy it, okay? So we're getting some contradiction. Then I would look at candlesticks. And this candlestick does not suggest that we should buy this pair. So basically, guys, I look at structure and trend, I look at support and resistance, and I look at candlesticks. I also look at this concept of value, right? And although this is in an uptrend, yeah, because it's hitting resistance, because we have a super bearish candle, I would just stay out of this pair, right? I just wouldn't trade it. I wouldn't be interested in this pair for today. All right. So, you know, that's Aussie dollar, US dollar. But if I had to trade it, let's go down to the lower time frames and let's get some more information on this trade. So, you know, we can clearly see there's a level here, right? It will become more apparent on the H4. So if we look at the H4, you can see I can put another mini support level through here, right? Now, you can see that this support level is holding, right? It's been tested once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. However, right, again, what I want to see is structure breaks to confirm my idea, right? So generally speaking, we would want to buy Aussie dollar, US dollar from this level. But we are in a H4 downtrend, right? We're seeing lower highs and these lows are holding. So what do I want to see to take a trade? And admittedly, this could take, you know, hours, days even. I want to see a break of this level. Yeah. As soon as I see a break of this structure, this high, we then have higher highs, and I would be looking to buy this pair at this point. All right. And the idea would be to take it to the next area of resistance. Right. Excuse me, guys. So that's what I would wait for. But let's drop down another level. Let's go down to the H1. And again, you know, this looked like this was building up earlier on, right? But the news has meant that it is breaking down. Now, again, because Aussie dollar, US dollar, the day chart is in an uptrend, my tendency would be to buy it. Yeah, I want to be with day trend. So again, what do we want to see? There is no better indicator than a structure break. So this is the last high on the H1. We've got lower highs. So if we perhaps got something like this, and then we got a break of this level, again, we could be interested in buying Aussie dollar, US dollar. You know, if structure did form like this, we'd also start seeing higher lows, which is also an indication that, you know, we're in an uptrend.
Did you know we do a live trading show Monday through Friday with guests from all over the world? To get notified when we go live, click the bell button next to the subscribe button or check in at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. We have helpful, free content in the description below and on our website, a1trading.com. Thanks for watching today's video, and we'll see you tomorrow.